Welcome back to the channel. This week I'm taking a look at the very special 2025 BMW Z4 M40i. Look at this absolute machine of a thing. It is in purple. I'll give you the exact paint name in a little bit. I want to take you through the exterior, the interior, and everything in between because this is the ultimate roadster. This is one of the ultimate convertibles, and it really is almost in a league of its own, and you just have to experience this one with me. So let's jump right into it. Let's start off first with looking at the front end. My goodness, the purple color on this, the camera, I'm telling you, doesn't do it justice. But let's start off as usual. Let's take a close look at the front end. Very nice daytime running LEDs, really aggressive looking front end. A lot of active vents here, very, very nice. And I mean active by usable, of course, not actual, they don't actually move or anything like that, but still, they don't need to. This thing looks phenomenal. I am such a fan of the purple. I just can't get enough of the purple on the black. This is probably how I'd buy it. Usually, I never thought I'd be somebody who liked a purple car or who wanted to drive around in a purple car, but give me the Z4, yeah, I'll take a purple car. So what else do we have? We don't have a front-facing camera, but we do have parking sensors, so that is very nice to have. There's no badging or anything in the front, but honestly, it doesn't need it. We only need that BMW badge. That's about it. As you can see as well, I have the top down because that's the way that this thing is meant to be driven, so I want you to experience it like that. And when we take it for a POV drive, you will see it in that configuration as well as with the top up. I'm gonna have everything covered this week. So next, let's talk about what is under the hood of this BMW Z4 M40i. I've got a 3-liter twin power turbo inline 6 B58 engine. That's gonna give us 382 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. So when I said that this thing can move, I wasn't kidding. A small frame like this and that much horsepower with the twin turbo. Now with the manual version of the Z4, we're also going to get the M Sport differential, the adaptive M suspension, a digital cockpit professional, and the M Sport seats, which look really, really good. Now BMW have improved the manual driving experience with advanced suspension enhancements, which improve the driving experience by incorporating more rigid anti-roll bars. We also get recalibrated dampers and fine-tuned power steering, and we also get the blacked out badges, which doesn't hurt. All that comes when you option the manual on the Z4 M40i. Now I also have the premium enhanced package, which is going to give me things like ambient lighting, active cruise control with stop and go, the parking assistant, a heads-up display, Harman Kardon surround system, wireless charging port, and also we get a Wi-Fi hotspot on board. And like I said, this paint color is called Thunder Night Metallic. What a name for a paint, and what a fitting name for this car. So quickly, let's move over to the side profile where you can really get a good glimpse of just how kind of little this vehicle is, but little means nothing when you take a look at it. Now the Z4 and the Supra were built in kind of the same kind of fashion. Toyota did their own things, BMW went their own way, but they are kind of similar, you know, just in terms of what they are. They just kind of went a little bit different in either way, but you can tell that the Supra has a lot of BMW inspired elements, and the Z4 shares it pretty heavily. But I like the convertible look. I love the way this thing looks with its top down. You can see that the top, when it drops, it actually has its own compartment, does not take away from your trunk space, which I'll show you in a second. But let's take a close look. You can see we've got these nice rims. These are upgraded rims as well, so you're going to pay a little bit more, but I have the M Sport brakes. We do have a blacked out M badge as well as some vents for the wheel there. This black accent right here looks really, really good. I like the turn signal LEDs for the mirrors. The mirrors are also nice and big, so we have good visibility. One touch lock and unlock doors, easy to get in and out. You can see a good glimpse of our interior right there as well, which we will get to in just a moment right after I finish showing you the exterior. But let's move over to the back quickly. Look at that sun, the way it reflects off the paint. Oh man, I'm telling you, I'm not doing it justice standing here in the camera. You've got to see one of these things in person. But let's drop it a little bit lower. I really like the taillights. I really like the exhaust. It has such a good exhaust note, and especially when you have the top off, you can really hear it. You can see I've got the blacked out Z4 badge, also the blacked out M40i badge as well. Oh man, this thing looks so aggressive. So last but not least, let's take a look at the trunk. As I said, the convertible top does not come into the trunk space at all. So you can see I've got plenty of space right here. I've also got a little pass through for the interior. So if you need to stick something long, like maybe a couple of golf clubs or something, you could probably stick it through the, you know, the passenger seat as well. So you can do that pretty easily. So that's a good option to have. But that's pretty much going to do it for our exterior tour of the Z4 M40i. Let's hop in the interior, and then of course right after that, POV drive coming up. You're not going to want to miss this. You got to experience this car with me. Let's do it. All right, so since there is no backseat in this convertible, let's check out the business end. Let's check out the front seat right away. Here we go. Open the door. Nice and easy to open, nice and easy to get in as well. I like the blue stitching with the leather and the nice soft material here. Very nice. You can control the 2 windows from here, as well as we get 2 memory seat settings. You can see we also have the M40i badge right here. The camera doesn't focus on it too well because it's bright out. We've got the M seat belts, which are, I believe, a $500 option here in Canada, which is not bad, but and also nice to have. You can see we have really nice seats. Again, leather with this soft touch material for the headrest. Very nice as well. It's a nice racing seat. It's got good bolstering as well. It's got adjustable bolstering. Everything is going to be powered right here. We've also got the leg extension, so it's really, really a comfortable seat. But let's go ahead and hop right in here. Yes, I know my vehicle key is missing, so that's going to go away. Alrighty, there we go. So there's not a ton of light coming in the car because this is a convertible and I have the top up because it's quite cold out currently. But let's start by taking a look at the steering wheel. Very nice steering wheel. There is no like blue or M Performance stitching, it's just the black stitching, but nice and big where it needs to be, which I enjoy. We've also got our media controls right here, as well as the ability to control some stuff with the heads-up display, so I enjoy that. We've also got our cruise control button over on the left, so you can, you know, set, it doesn't have the one where it can change lanes, but it does have the stop and go stuff, like I said in the beginning, so that's good. Classic BMW logo, very classic BMW steering wheel. I like the little M badge down here, as well as our heated steering button right there, so very nice to have. We got a Harman Kardon speaker right here. I like that all the window controls are physical buttons here. This is really good. I mean, there's a ton of physical buttons in here, so that's very nice. And then we go over to our digital gauge cluster, which pretty much has one theme. You can customize what's on the left and right and also what's on the middle. And I like how it says the Z4 M40i. It just has the badge there. I think that's a really cool touch. But this infotainment and gauge cluster theme and I guess design really hasn't changed in a very long time. And I don't think that's, you know, a big deal. I actually like this system. I think it's very simple to use still. I don't feel like I need to see a Z4 with the sprawling screens that BMWs of 2025, like, yeah, I showed you the M440i last week that had the sprawling screens across. I don't think you need that for the Z4. I think this fits it perfectly, and I think BMW understood that by not really putting so much effort into the little nuances of their infotainment and giving us a manual transmission instead. That is what enthusiasts want. But I do, like I said, I do like this gauge cluster. I can see everything I need to see. I can see what gear I'm currently in, which when you're a beginner manual driver, that is something that's very important. So I like that I have that. Let's move over to our infotainment, where I can see some of the car stuff, some of the vehicle status, driving information, different things like that. It's a very, very simple setup here where you can have different apps. You can have your installed apps here where you can see I've got Amazon Alexa still built in. I still got the M lap timer, the My BMW stuff, climate control rules. We also have a weather app. So it's super, you know, useful. I've got built-in navigation as well, should I not want to use the CarPlay or Android Auto, but that is an option as well, so still very nice. But look, I enjoy it, no complaints. Then we've got our HVAC control, very simple. You can see your temperature. It's dual zone automatic climate, so that's still nice. You can, you know, either take it to auto or turn it off. We've also got 3 levels of heated seats, which is good because if you do decide to take the top down and it's cold out, well, you can put your heated seat on. That kind of offsets things, so that's kind of cool as well. These buttons right here, they look like little radio buttons. They're actually quick buttons, so I can press number 1, assign it to Apple CarPlay, or I can have mobile devices. I can have a bunch of different things assigned to each button, and so you can kind of just quickly tap it and access stuff. Very, very cool touch. I like that a lot. Then a little bit lower, we've got our wireless charging pad, our 12 volt, and our USB charging if you need it. But I usually just put my phone right here, and I like how it has the ambient lighting right there as well. You've got this nice little tray here that'll slide forward and has the Z4 logo. I do enjoy that. Then we look at our manual transmission. It is a stiff transmission, or like it's a little bit of resistance, but I do like the rear lockout where you got to put your clutch in and then really force it. Like, see how much force I have to put that in there to go into reverse. And as a beginner, I'm not accidentally going to go into reverse. I really have to push for it to go, so I do enjoy that. But when I say rubbery, or when people say rubbery and resistant, it's just like a little like you know, it's not as smooth as some of the cars that I've driven this year, but it's still really good. I like the notchiness of it. Like you can see, yes, there is a little bit of like, kind of wants to spring back, but like I do enjoy how notchy it is, and like I know that I've hit 4th, for example. I know that I'm in 6th there. I don't even have to look at it. I just know, and for a beginner, that's very nice. And I also like the little M logo inside the shifter. Very cool. We've got our parking sensing button right here, the auto start stop button, the engine start stop button, and then we have our sport, comfort, and Eco Pro mode, which I can kind of customize and go through those if I want to. I can have the individual. That's where, if you want to, you're going to configure it and you can turn off your rev match downshifting. I'm a beginner, so I keep it on, and I am probably going to keep things that way. But I'm usually always driving it in Sport Plus mode. That is the only way to drive this thing. This button, you're going to hold it, and in about 10 seconds, your roof will be gone, or it will be back up if you hold it up, which is very cool. Electronic parking brake, the traction control off button, and then this guy will be your wheel to control the infotainment, and you have a bunch of quick access buttons there as well. Then we have some cup holders here with a little tiny bit of storage. I like this. I can have 2 cups here, or I can have 2 coffees here, whatever, and I can still have my armrest and still use the shifter without it really interfering with me too much. Passenger seats, very nice. It's all power supported as well, and it also has 2 memory seat settings, so that is very cool. Then if I rotate my body, you can see we've got some nice speakers back there. Most of the speakers are actually back there. It is sound surround, or surround sound, but yeah, the speakers are back there. There's some nice big ones, so I like that. We've also got a little storage compartment, and you can open the pass-through should you need. And we have this little cargo net, too, that I've actually been making use of to get in behind the seats there. So it's a pretty convenient little space. They've done enough, I think, to give you as much storage as possible in this little, you know, kind of this little convertible absolute ripper of a car. I mean, storage is not really the concern. It's fun, and it's horsepower, and it's driving experience, and let's take it on the road. Let me show you all that. We'll take this roof off, and we'll drive like that, and you can hear it in all its glory. Let's do it. All right, welcome on the road now with the Z4 M40i. What a time it's been. I've been telling people all week, it is a really cool car, but more than that, it's more of an experience because it's such a small frame and so much power. It's just something that it needs to be experienced with the top down. I'm going to start the first portion of the video with the top up, and then I'll stop. I'll put the top down for you, and we'll do some driving. It actually is pretty much warm enough to do it. And it's the only, I got like today and the next day were pretty much the only time where I'm not going to absolutely freeze to do it. Don't get me wrong though, I have absolutely been putting this top down in like 10, 11 Celsius weather here in Quebec, and just been enjoying myself, you know, putting the old hoodie on with the hood and just kind of ripping around. Right now though, I'm in comfort mode. I also have an Eco Pro mode, which makes, you know, the throttle response a little less heavy, right? And kind of only allows me to rev up to about, you can see it's kind of changing the way that I rev and stuff, and also, you know, just kind of trying to be efficient, which I'm never in this mode. It's the slow mode. Everything's quiet though, so it's kind of like a quiet mode. Normally, I'm in Sport Plus mode the entire time. I love the exhaust sounds. I love the way the rev matching works and everything in between. It is just the one to be in. I am not a seasoned manual driver, so me having rev match and assists is a really big deal for me. So let's give it some beams here, just a little bit. I couldn't give it too much because you wouldn't have seen it, but there was actually a cop like right down there. So I will give it a little bit more here, yeah. But yeah, I couldn't really give it too much guns there because there was a good old friend in blue there. So we're gonna downshift once here and then fire it. There we go. Not as crazy of a pull as you could do from second gear, and I will show you that. Don't you worry, it's gonna come. I just usually where I film, where I usually take off, there was a boy in blue sitting right there. The guy behind me, I've done it a few times to people. The guy behind me is warning everybody about that cop. Oh my goodness. I usually take my GoPro off my forehead in case the cop kind of gets some weird ideas and pulls me over. So yeah, but anyways, let's talk about it. So handling is really, really good. Obviously, I think people have said it's not the best. I don't really have much to compare it to. I haven't driven the Supra or anything like that. If I compare it to the Miata, it's almost on par with that. If I compare it to the BRZ, the other, sports coupe that I drove, or sports two-seater that I drove, it is way better than the BRZ. This BMW, it's a very nice handling experience. a very nice driving experience in general. I think that, you know, of course it's sporty, of course it's really fun to rip around town and do this, that, and the other thing, but at the same time, it could also be really calm and pretty comfortable. It does have adaptive dampers, so, you know, when I'm in comfort mode, obviously I'm in a two-seater, right? I'm very low to the ground, so it's going to be hard, even with good adaptive dampers, to, you know, completely delete all of the bumps here in Quebec. It's just not going to happen. But it is a relatively comfortable ride for, you know, what it is and what it can do with what it has available, and I really do like that. Now, of course, like the, you know, the convertible, the soft top kind of experience is definitely not going to be for everybody. I feel like a lot of people that are going to buy this car are going to, you know, be like retired and have a little bit more money than just the Miata, right? And there's nothing wrong if you just go with a Miata. Like, and honestly, I say Miata a lot during this is because that's the only other kind of convertible that I have it really to compare to. We could compare it to the Porsche Boxster or the Porsche Boxster, whatever you call it. I forget the name. But you can compare it to that. But for me, that's honestly hard to compare it to because it's a mid-engine vehicle. This is a front-engine car, front everything. So, not front-wheel drive, but still, it's a front drive, pretty much everything. And I just feel like that's weird to compare it to that because it's so much more expensive as well, I think. So, I don't know. I just feel like you can't compare this to that without making some type of compromise. This is kind of in a league of its own to me. Like, it's hard for me to think of something else that really, really competes with this thing. So let's pull into this parking lot, and this is a cool thing because I could actually roll down my roof without actually stopping. I think you can go up to like 40 kilometers. There you go. And we are roof down. There we go. Retractable top movement complete. Here we go. So now you're gonna get the real experience. Now you're gonna get the absolute beams of this thing. You could probably hear it a lot more. I'll do some ripping with the windows open and some with the windows up. So, because there is a little bit of buffeting. It's not terrible, honestly. Like, I think, like I said, I think there's cars out there that are definitely gonna be worse. BMW have done a really good job at controlling the buffeting as much as they can, I think. Okay, it was my turn, but anyways. Good drivers, getting caught on film, as usual, you know, the standard. Let's go, though. Here we go. Hopefully there's no friends here. And we can rip this thing from first. Whee! Now, that's an experience, ladies and gentlemen. Let's roll these windows up because that wind is very loud. Yeah, that is absolutely insane. So, and I hope you could hear it. Obviously, I should have let go of the clutch a lot earlier to go from first to second, and I kind of got the bounce there, so I didn't get like a perfect launch off that. Like I said, I'm not a seasoned manual driver. I am still very much learning. And when it comes to like driving a vehicle really hard, it's not something that I'm well versed in yet. But the more experience that I get and the more exposure I get to these things, I definitely will be very well versed in that area. So this car as well, I've got it in the purple, right? It's just turning heads left and right. You know, young and old, everybody's kind of stopping. I've had people hear the exhaust of this thing and just stop in traffic and be like, and just stop in their tracks walking and just stare at me. It's either because they're annoyed because I'm a young kid and I'm a nuisance. That's, you know, we've got a lot of that around here. Or they're very impressed. It's an awesome car. I've had a lot of thumbs up, a lot of waves, lots of BMW owners that have really enjoyed this one. So it's been really cool to show the BMW community this, because honestly, there's none of these things in my area. You just don't see them. So I guess one of the main questions is like, why would you buy something like this instead of like maybe a BMW M440i like I showed you last week? Well, I think it's just because you really like to enjoy, you know, not having a roof, having like, you know, just having like a freeing experience without maybe going to a motorcycle or something like that. This is like the most freeing experience that you can get out of a four-wheel vehicle, in my opinion. Obviously you have those weird three wheels that's a car, but it's like, it's just one of those crossover things. I don't know. But anyways, this is one of like the most realistic experience that you can have. And it honestly, like when I stepped into this and I started driving it and then I took the roof off, I said to myself, this is why I signed up to do this. This is why I really wanted to do this. And like, it's just moments and vehicles like this that make what I do and what us journalists in general get to do so absolutely very special. because when you get your hands on a car that sounds and can do this, it's hard to not be thankful for your position, and it's hard not to absolutely love your job. And I absolutely love mine. So it's been just like I said, just an absolute experience. Visibility is actually not that bad either. Like, I do have a couple of blind spots where the seats are. You kind of have to lean forward a little bit oftentimes to make sure that you're not cutting anybody off and stuff. It does have very big side view mirrors, so that I really enjoyed having that, because it does help. That was a massive speed bump. I really felt that one. It really does help the visibility wise. When you have really big mirrors, you can kind of see everything. You kind of see both lanes on the highway and stuff. On the highway, I guess, is where the visibility is the worst. Obviously, you have a lot of things moving around you. But normally I'm the fastest moving thing on the highway, especially in this thing. I mean, it is just a bullet. Like, the feeling you get from driving this thing is kind of hard to explain. It's one of those vehicles where you just have to drive it and you'll completely understand what I'm talking to you about. And once you do drive it, you're just gonna wanna buy it, and there's nothing that BMW can do to help you or save you. You're just gonna give them your money. That's it, you're done. You drive it once, you're done. Oh, that rev match downshifting is so good. Oh, the way it flies me back in my seat there when I just dump the clutch a little bit. That's so awesome. Oh my goodness. This car, I'm telling you, the feelings that I get from this vehicle never get old, and I don't think ownership, they would ever get old. I mean, oh my goodness, I love it. Woohoo! Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a classic vehicle. I don't know what the future of the Z4 is going to be. I don't know. I just feel like with the kind of older operating system, the older kind of look, I just feel like it's maybe not long for the road, the Z4. I feel like they maybe will be taking it away from us sooner than later. I hope they do a refresh. I hope they maybe add a hybrid or just something, anything BMW. Please keep this thing in the market for 2026, please, or 2027. Put a hybrid, do what you have to do, but please do not kill this thing. I want to drive it again. This thing deserves to be on the road, on every road. It just makes every road so much fun to drive on, whether it's a straight road like this or a twisty road going through a canyon, wherever it will be, wherever it may be, this thing is a ripper. I know sometimes I like, in my reviews, it's hard to find things that are negative to say about vehicles. And I mean, there's just some vehicles that are just good for what they are. And I think the Z4 is exactly that. It's not going to be good on gas. You're going to burn through fuel. I mean, and it's, for some people, if you don't get the automatic, it might be a little bit difficult to drive because the transmission does feel a little bit rubbery, but who cares about any of that? Now, one thing I will touch on before we head out is the transmission, the final thing. So, like I said, I love the rev match downshifting, but it is a little rubbery, right? For my first time driving it, I took a little bit for me to like dial it in and really become absolutely comfortable with it. I really, it took me some time just to figure out, okay, but I like the notchiness of it. It's rubbery, there's a little bit of resistance to it, but it is very notchy. So when I am in the gear that I need to be in, I know it, and I'm confident letting go of the clutch. It hasn't been one of those things where it's refused to go into gear or anything. So, you just gotta take your time with it, dial it in, and once you get comfortable, it's like any other transmission you've ever driven. The clutch engagement point is really, really good as well. I haven't really felt any issues there or anything where I couldn't read it. In traffic, I've driven this thing in traffic many times, and I will be continuing to drive this in traffic many times throughout the week here. So yeah, it's gonna get worse, but the clutch pedal is very easy to feel, very easy to modulate, and reversing and parking is obviously easy because we are quite small. So yeah, very good all-around vehicle for a convertible, for a sports car. It's just an experience. You have to drive it and you'll understand what I mean. Let me know what you think in the comments. Owners, if you own one, let me know what you think. Are you retired? Did you get one just because? Did you spend the money on this thing? If you did so, why? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear what you have to say. And with that being said, I will see you in the next week. See you in the next car. Take care.